I would like to extend a very warm Céad Míle Fáilte to you all and wish to say how delighted that I am that this walking conference is taking place here in our beautiful town of Dungarvan, which is the centre for activity tourism. In fact, Dungarvan is one of the 16 national cycling hubs and is the base for the Sean Kelly Tour, one of Ireland's leading cycling events. It is also the centre where many walking groups choose to stay while they come here on their walks to the Cumra Mountains. Dungarvan Town Council is very proud to have been one of the 3 towns nationally to have been selected for the Smarter Travel, and we have the coordinator here, Tom Rogers, today. I'm delighted to see him here. Part of this 5-year project sees the development of walking and cycling paths, as well as the development and promotion of sustainable transport. This infrastructure of the town is also being enhanced to support the strategy to develop cycling and walking activities throughout the county. All of this work will contribute to support Waterford County Council's county-wide strategy to develop and promote activity tourism. Today's conference is an extremely important part in the process of this development. The recent economic climate has been a challenge for us all, but the future is looking bright. And so I would encourage you all to make the most of today and take the opportunity to share ideas and to look at the way of working together to develop and promote Waterford as an activity destination.
Many of you here today work in the tourism industry or live in communities who wish to increase visitor numbers and visitor spend locally. I think we will all find today's proceedings and discussions very informative in that respect. We are blessed to be here amidst beautiful countryside surrounded by mountains and the sea. It is these natural resources that have been identified as key strengths for development in the economic strategy for Waterford City and County. This, coupled with our high-quality environment, good connectivity with Dublin and Cork, and ease of access by sea and air, make for an ideal location. We must capitalise on the exponential growth in activity tourism nationally and internationally, and target people living in the UK and on continental Europe who want to participate in walking and other activities. If you are living in Manchester or Birmingham, you can leave home and be hill walking in the majestic Cumra Mountains, cycling in Lismore or surfing in Bunmahan in a few hours. This is a huge advantage we have over much of the rest of the country, and this advantage we have must be maximised. That is a challenge. Our county has the potential to become the walking capital of Ireland. We can enable this to happen by constructing partnerships and by networking. It is important that we find out what each of us has to bring to the table to make this happen. We already have a number of strong partnerships between County Council, Town Councils, Waterford Sports Partnership and various community groups. The future development of additional walking infrastructure in the county will be through communities in association with statutory agencies. It is important that all development of these natural resources must be done in a sustainable way so that they may be enjoyed by future generations.
There are many arms of tourism, and in County Waterford we have supported and assisted many different aspects. However, we have set a priority of making Waterford the walking capital of Ireland. With this in mind, Waterford County Council published in 2005 a walking strategy for County Waterford. This is supported by the Council's corporate plan, the Economic SPC and Waterford Sports Partnership, who had previously launched a strategic plan which identified walking as a significant participation activity and the need for a Waterford walking strategy. In 2007, the Irish Sports Council launched the Irish Trail Strategy, which again identified walking trails as being a significant benefit to the tourism market. We have also published a number of walking guides and promotional brochure, which has been aimed primarily at the UK market. Cuilta's recreational policy, reviewed in 2010, identified the continued use of their large forestry asset as a valuable resource for the nation and for both home and foreign tourism market. The assistance of the LEADER programme in financing the development of walking trails throughout the county has been most significant. The primary role of the local authority in the promotion of walking tourism is that of coordination of various stakeholders, and indeed there are many, to provide infrastructure which attracts the walking tourist, be it domestic or foreign. This walking infrastructure has to be appropriately designed and constructed to cater for all needs, be it family, amateur, professional, and to be as accessible as possible. I have mentioned stakeholders such as Cuilta, National Trails Office, sports partnerships, leader companies previously, but there are many others such as private landowners, local community groups, Antashka, Fáilte Ireland, Waterford County Enterprise Board and farming organisations, just to name some more. Consultation with all these stakeholders is essential in the design, construction and maintenance of walking trails, and I see it as essential that local authority takes the lead role in this process. The Cumra Mountains Forum, which is an initiative of Waterford County Council and is essentially based around the walking trails of the Cumra Mountains and their associated cultures, is a typical example of this local authority coordination role.
Ramblers Worldwide Holidays is the major of our 4 brands. This is the walking holidays all over the world. They commonly stay in 3 or 4 star hotels. They commonly last for between 1 and 2 weeks. We do a holiday in New Zealand that lasts for 4 weeks. Europe is the main market. Would be 80% of the holidays we sell would stay in mainland Europe. Italy and Spain are the 2 leading markets. Greece a good way behind, and Austria, France even further behind than that. But we had an issue with the average age of our clients going up and up. And we particularly had an issue. We have a very loyal clientele. A lot of guys come with us again and again and again. But we were getting brochures sent back to us, say something along the lines of, I've been on 20 of your holidays the last 20 years, I've thoroughly enjoyed them, I can't do the walking anymore, please don't send me any more brochures. And we thought this was an enormous shame that we were losing these loyal clients, so we came up with the idea of the Adagio programme, that is, the walking is a much lesser part of the programme. Walks would typically be 2 or 3 hours at a very easy pace, so anybody, if you can walk the dog round the park, you'd be able to do an Adagio walk. We would emphasise the cultural aspects of the holidays. We would add the standard of accommodation, the standard of food offered would be better. It would be a more upmarket offering. Interestingly, the first brochure had a capacity of about 500 beds, and I suspect if you'd asked us when we first launched the brochure, we'd have been very pleased to have sold 250 of those beds. In fact, we sold considerably more than 500. It was exceeded our wildest dreams in success. So for 2014, we increased, doubled the size of the brochure, and in 2014, we now programme a holiday in and around Waterford County. So right, what do I need for a walking holiday? A mountain, a lake, some people. Dead easy. Alas, there's a little bit more to it than that. We typically provide on our holidays the flights from the UK to the destination, transport from the destination airport to the hotel, accommodation, typically half board, so breakfast and dinner, and all our holidays have a group leader that comes on them and takes the group round. So the most important aspects of the holiday, what we spend the most money on, is the accommodation. We need nice hotels in walking areas. If any of you guys happen to have a hotel that has a view like that, out of your window, then please come and talk to me. I'm accepting it's unlikely. That's actually a view of Everest. That's taken from the Everest View Hotel, which is up above Namche Bazaar in Nepal. That's Everest with the cloud blowing off the top there. But straight away, if you have a hotel in a place like that, then I would be very interested to talk to you. As estate agents say, 3 things important: location, location, and location. It's the same when choosing hotels. Right, the next aspect of the offer is food. This is a guy cooking breakfast outside a hotel in Almaty in Kazakhstan. He's doing omelettes. The Kazakhs like their omelettes for breakfast. He is a very, very good omelette chef. Whenever we go anywhere, we always try and make sure that we get local food. 2 advantages: that it means that our clients get to, food is a very important aspect of culture, we all know. So they get that view of the local culture. Also, the local chefs tend to be very, very good at cooking their local stuff, not so good at cooking other people's stuffs. He was a great breakfast chef. Whether he worked well producing Irish breakfasts in here, it wouldn't be so good. Next, transport. I mentioned we provide as part of the package the transport from the destination airport to the hotel. If it's a 2-centre holiday, we provide transport in between the hotels and then back to the airport. What we need a nice clean bus. We need it to look nice on the outside. Remember, this is the first thing that the clients see when they arrive. We have to create a good pressure. We need a nice clean bus. We need it clean inside and out. We need seatbelt. We need the driver to be presentable. We need him to be personable. We need him to have a big smile on his face. It is extraordinarily likely that any bus driver we have in Ireland will fit all of those criteria. And of course, we don't have the language barrier here. So if we hired a bus here, we'd expect the bus driver to give them a little bit of a talk on the way, just a little introduction to the area. Bus drivers tend to know these things. This is a page out of our 2014 Adagio brochure. This holiday stays in the Cliff House Hotel in Ardmore, and we have a local programme that is based entirely in County Waterford. The most important thing that I will tell you today is don't ever overpromise. It is very frustrating for everybody. If you can't deliver what you've said you can deliver, it wastes an awful lot of time, creates an awful lot of bad feeling.
We had at our disposal a beautiful area. The Flean is a genuinely beautiful area, and it has at its tip Bardsey Island, and that's an ancient pilgrimage destination. So we created what was essentially a pilgrimage walk. And the reason we were interested in doing it wasn't really to make a lot of money, because pickings from walking tourism are very modest. It was to provide inspiration, leadership, to show by example that you could create a sustainable business, to lead by example, to show it's possible to develop an area, to have tourists in an area without actually spoiling either the landscape or the culture. And we felt that the area was threatened by an alternative model, which was converting the beautiful areas with beautiful views to caravan parks. And so we created this walk along the north coast of the Flean, initially 47 miles. We did quite a lot. Part of it was already a council route, but we put up some of our own signs, and we were very fortunate that it was then adopted by the local authority as part of the Flean Coastal Path. And then we were fortunate that another group of people created a pilgrimage route from Holywell to Bardsey Island. So we have another path essentially feeding into it. And then more recently we've had the Wales Coast Path. So these are a whole series of government investments to improve the path. And each time it's created more and more publicity for us. So it is part of the Wales Coast Path now. The scenery is really excellent. So it's a sought-after location. And with Bardsey Island at its tip, it had a unique selling point, which you need on a linear route. We had our own minibus, because this is a linear trail. People don't want to carry their own luggage. They want to see everybody every day to give encouragement and support. And so we use the minibus either to carry the people to the walk, or simply to carry the luggage, or to pick up from Manchester Airport. We also developed our own accommodation in Aberdaron because a lot of the hotels would close down in the autumn and not reopen until the next spring. There was no accommodation in the whole area for anybody with disabilities, and some of it was not of a particularly high standard. So we created our own accommodation. We made a reasonable success of the walking business on the Flean, and so we were given the authorities, the tourism authorities, gave us responsibility for promoting the whole of North Wales as a walking destination. And we run an organisation called Walking North Wales, which has its own website and which brings overseas tour operators to North Wales to let them sample what we have.
So to start with, I just want to paint a strategic context. First and foremost, the trading environment has been, as you are all aware, a very difficult one over recent years. There has been a significant weakening in the Great Britain market over that time, and domestic demand is not strong at the moment, and unless you have more money in your pockets than I have in mine, I think it will stay that way for a while longer. So that's of significant importance, and it creates a significant challenge for us. And the key insights is that, by and large, activity holidaymakers think about the destination first. So that conceptual, fuzzy feel of what a country stands for. So in Ireland's case, it's obviously the culture, the people, the pace of life, and some of the kind of the shortcut messages and memories they would have of Ireland from previous communications or word of mouth, etc., etc. And then layered into that, if Ireland becomes, in a sense, an attractive destination for them, then they start to consider, well, is it a good place for a walking holiday, or should I walk while I'm there, or is it a good place to cycle? So first and foremost, it's that. Secondly, the holiday experience. The important thing here is you're selling an inclusive experience where the activity is just part of it. And I think that's a key message that you take away with you, in particular in terms of your own marketing, in terms of your marketing, be it online, offline. And there's also a key message to us in terms of how we present your areas internationally. And the last point is then just reinforces that it is again the fact that we're trading off Ireland's USP. The brand is Ireland. What we have to be able to demonstrate that in context of the brand Ireland, and that really is, it exists as a concept, is that when people start to think then about actually committing themselves to a holiday in Ireland, well then functionally, where can I get at that experience? And we need to align ourselves with that key message, that you can get at that unique cultural, rural Irish experience here in this area of Ireland. And that's the challenge. Key recommendations with regard to the challenge. One, obviously leverage off your core natural built and cultural heritage. And there's a bit in there about being true to yourself, and I thought that was very good feedback to get earlier today in terms of what the actual potential of an area is. The good news is not only do we have a variety, but we have wonderful scenery and wonderful facilities in this area of the southeast that I believe can be further exploited. Position your activity as a complement to this broader experience. So how you best define and develop this experience is critically important. Understand the evolving needs and motivations of your and Ireland's key consumer segments. It's not just about the Rambler clubs, it's very much about the generalist and how you can appeal to that generalist to come to your particular area. And there's such an amount of heritage and history, folklore and stories and literary trails and everything that can be dialed up in this area to really give it roots. And then last but not least, and this relates really more so to a presentation you'll get this afternoon than to my presentation here this morning, but that is to recognise the scale and significance of offer is critical in terms of, and I say this carefully, in that the political structure of counties in Ireland is of great benefit to the island of Ireland, because it delivers democracy at the very lowest and localist level. It also focuses people's minds on what is local, and people are responded to at a local level. And from a developmental perspective, it works absolutely well. But the branding concept of a county in the international marketplace doesn't, and rarely, if ever, works. And it is a huge challenge. So generally speaking, people go to places not because per se of the county, albeit the county might be one way of developing awareness, but it's about the offer, the coherence of the offer, and how you can best put that in the shop window. I think is open for debate in regard to how we move forward in this part of the country.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's me again. Walking festivals. I've been involved in all the North Wales walking festivals over a number of years now, and in your delegate pack you've got a list of them. And I can advise you, please look them up through the websites. If you're organising a walking festival, it is easy to copy best practice from other people. The very best probably the Isle of Wight Walking Festival, but there's quite a lot to be learned from the North Wales ones. And just as a sort of brief summary of them, I would say primarily the North Wales ones are for the entertainment of the people that are already there, either people who are living there or visitors who have come for other reasons and find themselves in the middle of a walking festival. People like to stay in guest houses and hotels where the people who are running it know something about the walks in the area. The easiest way to get established as a walking festival is to involve groups in the area who are there for other purposes. So you simply ask the Rotary Club or the local cathedral choir or the Working Men's Club to organise a walk, and they're then responsible for the walk and for getting people there. So we've tried that, and that's been quite successful. The most important way of involving families and school children has been geocaching. Can I have a show of hands, please, of those who have been geocaching? Right, well, that is very low. That is very low. It is the fastest growing outdoor sport. And it's a wonderful way of getting into the countryside, particularly for families and kids. And there's a geocache only, like 50 yards away from the hotel. No? Well, that's something I've actually distributed a couple of around the tables, a printout. Perhaps I should talk more about geocaching. But that's the big thing. It involves gadgets, the GPS device. Nearly everyone with a smartphone will have a GPS and a means of accessing the central website, geocaching.com. Wonderful way of introducing people to walking. But I do congratulate you for the festival that you have in Waterford, which achieved a prominent place in a very prominent journal in England, Coast Magazine. Has anybody seen this Coast Magazine article? Well, I'll leave it on the desk. It's worth its weight in gold, because it'll be in dentists' waiting rooms and doctors' surgeries for the next 5 years. And people will see it. And, of course, it contains the dream, Lovely winter weekend, cultural interest, Vikings, castles, Waterford glass. If you can achieve something like that to advertise your festival, and if you can sort of spice it up the way that you have and turn it into part food and part cultural, then maybe you can establish the festival.
This is my main point of my talk today, and it's not original. It was said by somebody before me. My purpose here is to make you think. I'm not here to teach you anything, and I think really that's what I want out of it, is that people start thinking and start thinking differently. Now, tourism, and this is a Manila Declaration on World Tourism, says that it's an activity that's essential to the life of nations because of its direct effects on social, cultural, educational and economic sectors of national societies and on their international relations. It's a way of bringing people together, it's a way of bringing people to Ireland, and also for Irish people to go out and visit other people. So a very important part of the world. And now, what is a tourist? That's another question, isn't it? How does a tourist view him or herself? And this particular tourist says he's not a tourist, but he is a mobile citizen. And that's another interesting thing to be considering when we're putting our business together, how people view themselves. I'd like to think of tourists as people who have somewhere else to call a home. They can come and go, but we have to always consider, especially in strategy, how we're going to manage people. And if there is a critical mass of people who want to come and live here, it then spoils the destination, possibly. A question, like I said, I'm not here to tell you as much as to raise questions and make you think. And I think this is a great strapline that I made up myself. To come to Wales because it's a holiday abroad at home. You know, we are a different country. We are not England. Quite different. So you can still come there, speak English, enjoy yourselves, not get lost. But it's something different, a little bit special, a little bit of flavour. And here we have a natural environment. We've got 3 national parks. We've got areas of outstanding natural beauty, etc. Heritage and culture, more castles per square mile than anywhere else in Europe, probably the world. I want to move on to what is sustainability, the sustainable and responsible tourism. The whole thing is about killing the goose that laid the golden egg. You know, people come because they want something distinctive. They don't want to find that there's people like themselves now living here and it's not Ireland anymore. It's not Wales anymore. You know, it's not Romania anymore. It's not the south of Spain anymore. It's all become homogenised. How do we avoid that? And then, as a business, doing things differently. So, the context, the sustainability context. This is the challenge. We only have one planet. There is no planet B. And as tourist industry, we really, really depend on this. We need to balance people, planet, and simply making money. And in any business, that's a challenge. It's a challenge for government. It's a challenge for individuals. And if we manage to saw away one of the legs and get it all wrong, we skid off the stool. It's not a comfortable seat at all. And in the tourist area, the natural environment is really critical. The people side of things is really critical, as well as making money. I had a cottage myself. You're not in it as a charity. Making money is just as important as the other things.
So the purpose of me maybe just giving you a quick overview today is I'd like to get some feedback from you. Not now. I've brought a questionnaire and maybe when I finish up speaking maybe we might have a quick word. I'm really interested to get your views. We mightn't agree with everything that's said, but we will certainly listen and record it. There's a lot of skilled people here who run bed and breakfast, who run farmhouses, who are into tour operating, and that's very important for us. And we pay a lot of attention to market research. We don't breeze into the room and say, we feel this, we believe that. It's evidence is required. So you may be interested to know that when we're at the start of this project at the moment, but we're doing a number of things in order to arrive at the market testing solution for the Munster Peaks. We're going to visit the area, and we've been doing it over the last number of weeks, and you'd expect us to do that, so we will do that. We're going to speak to tour operators. We've spoken to about 15 international tour operators already, and I was grateful for the opportunity of meeting with David there earlier on, and we're listening. We're not ramming our opinions down about the Munster Peaks project to everybody. We're listening, so we're gathering the information. We're speaking to Fáilte Ireland, and they're updating us on exactly what the strategies are at the moment. We're speaking to Tourism Ireland. So basically, if you like, we're gathering our bag of information, and in a month or so we'll be in a position where we'll be able to get off the fence and start giving some research findings that we can back up. But just to move you on just a little bit, the Munster Peaks area sits equidistant between 4 of Ireland's 6 cities, Cork, Limerick, Waterford and Kilkenny. The Munster Peaks includes the Comaras, the Knockmeal Downs, the Galties and the Ballyharas. And it may well be, it might go further. It may go north, it may go south, it may go east, it may go west. And that's what we've been asked to market test. So I'll just read this out. This is important so you know what we've been asked to market test. The purpose of the project is to look at the possibility of promoting the area as a brand, linking the counties of Waterford and Tipperary through the notion of the Munster Peaks, which are geographically contiguous and are divided by a set of 4 county boundaries, notably counties Waterford, Tipperary, Cork and Limerick. The 4 ranges provide a mix of soft outdoor recreational activities, walking, cycling and angling, historic coastal and rural towns and villages, really, really important, the towns and villages, and numerous heritage and cultural attractions of scale and significance. And can I say to you, as we move through this process, it's really, really interesting to be brought to towns and villages and sitting down with people like Knockmilldown Active, and we'll be meeting the Forum, and we've been with the Galtee, and we've been in pubs at 8 o'clock in the back room of the pubs at night listening to these plans and hearing about all these plans. And a lot of these areas, as you know because you're actively involved, have produced very detailed plans already. So we're gathering the information. But the areas boast a year-round hospitality offering, including a number of established festivals and events, many of which celebrate the rich heritage and traditional culture of these mountain areas. The Munster Peaks can be seen as presenting an opportunity to develop a proposition of scale for the entire area, which is of sufficient scale and singularity to enable successful marketing overseas. So, as Gary outlined earlier, after extensive research that Fáilte Ireland carried out with Tourism Ireland, they were satisfied that it made a lot of sense to look at destination marketing of Ireland along the coast with the Wild Atlantic Way. The challenge now is, what do we do in this part of Ireland? Is there an opportunity? When we look at this space that we're talking about, what does it have? Yes, there's mountains there. What about the Munster Peaks? And that's where we're at. Okay.